All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And this time we're looking at something that I think a lot of people are curious about.
Yeah.
Whole body vibration, or WBV, as the cool kids call it.
Yeah.
And, the question is it just hype, or is there really something to this whole shaking thing? And we have such an interesting mix of sources that you sent in, listeners.
It's a good one.
We've
Yep.
got scientific studies.
Mm-hmm.
We got people talking about their experiences in online forums like Mayo Clinic Connect.
Hmm.
And we even have a news piece that's hinting that WBV could have benefits that go way beyond just your muscles.
It's intriguing for sure.
I'm really excited to dive into these personal
Me
stories
too.
because like I always say, there's nothing quite like hearing how something is actually playing out in people's everyday lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to try to do today is sort through all of this information, separate the hype from the facts, and hopefully give you the knowledge you need to decide if WBV is something you want to explore further. So to start with, we've got this really cool randomized controlled trial from the National Library of Medicine, and it was published in Healthcare in June of 2021.
Okay.
And in this study, they took a bunch of older adults,
All right.
and they split them up into two groups.
Mm-hmm.
One group did WBV plus some regular strength training,
Uh-huh.
and then the other group did stretching and strength training.
Gotcha.
And what they found was both groups got stronger,
Which is good.
which is great,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what you want to see.
Exactly.
The group that was doing the WBV,
Yeah.
they actually saw bigger gains in something called peak torque.
Ooh, peak torque. Now we're talking.
Peak torque, no, for those of us who, don't have a degree in exercise physiology,
Right.
what does that even mean in real world terms?
So basically, it's like the maximum force that your muscles can generate.
Okay.
So think about it. Like if you have a higher peak torque,
Mhm.
you're going to be able to lift those heavy grocery bags much easier or climb a flight of stairs without huffing, puffing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so it seems like even if you're already doing strength training,
Yeah.
throwing some WBV into the mix could give you that extra edge.
Could be.
Okay, so we've talked about muscles, right?
Yeah.
But what about our bones? Because we have these forum posts from Mayo Clinic Connect
Mm-hmm.
where people are talking about using WBV for osteoporosis.
Interesting.
One user, her name is Terry, she was trying it out
Okay.
on this machine called an Ellison Bolt.
I've heard of that one.
But then she kind of realized, wait a minute, this might not be the right kind of vibration for what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah, and that's a super important point.
Like maybe it's too intense or something?
Yeah, because you have different types of WBV out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got your high intensity, which is like powerful.
Okay.
And then you got your low intensity, which is more like gentle.
Mhm.
So it's almost like, the difference between using a power drill and a massage gun.
Okay.
You wouldn't use a power drill to like relax your muscles.
Definitely not, no.
Right. So finding the right type of WBV for your needs is super important.
Right, and we also have another user here, Bunky44 is their username, and they're trying this whole bone-building supplement regimen
Okay.
and also rebounding.
Oh, wow.
So they're kind of hitting it from all angles.
It's like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah, and I think that's something we see a lot with health and fitness in general,
Definitely.
right? It's not always about just one thing. It's about finding what works best for you and your body.
Absolutely.
So that's a great takeaway, I think. WBV might not be a solo act. It could be part of a bigger team.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about muscles, we've talked about bones, but there's another area where WBV might be making some serious waves,
Okay, I'm listening.
and that is metabolism.
Metabolism. Interesting.
We've got this really interesting news article from Augusta University, and it talks about some research that was done on WBV's potential impact on metabolism. And they used a mouse model of obesity and diabetes to see how WBV stacked up against just regular old treadmill walking.
Interesting. So head to head.
Yeah, like shaking is good as actually, moving your legs.
Right.
And what they found is really fascinating.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. Tell me.
Both the treadmill group and the WBV group
Uh-huh.
saw a reduction in body fat
Okay, that's good.
and improvements in something called insulin resistance.
Now, insulin resistance, for folks who might not be familiar,
Break it down for us.
basically it's when your cells aren't responding to insulin as well as they should.
Yep.
Insulin's like a key that unlocks your cells to let glucose in, and when there's resistance, the glucose builds up in your blood,
Oh, not good.
which can lead to, some problems like type 2 diabetes.
So anything that improves insulin sensitivity is a good thing.
Right. Absolutely. It means your body's better at regulating those blood sugar levels.
Okay, that's great news. And here's another little twist, and I thought this was really interesting.
Okay.
The benefits were mainly seen in the mice who were obese,
Oh,
not the ones who were already lean and active.
interesting.
It's almost like WBV might be particularly helpful for those who maybe are struggling with weight management or haven't been able to exercise as much.
Yeah, that's a really promising finding.
It's like opening up new possibilities, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so we've seen some positive potential for muscles, for bones, and even for metabolism. But what about the most important organ of all,
You got it. The brain.
the brain?
Command center.
We're going to dive into that next.
Can't wait.
And it's going to be very interesting. Stay with us. So can WVV really give our brains a boost? I can admit, I was a bit skeptical about this one at first.
I can see why.
WBV for cognitive function, it just sounded a little too good to be true.
Yeah, I get that.
But then
that.
we came across this systematic review
Oh, yeah.
from the National Library of Medicine, published in Ames Neuroscience in May of 2023.
Okay.
And it really kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities here, because they looked at a whole bunch of studies on WBV and how it affects cognitive function. And the results, I got to say, were pretty impressive.
Yeah, what kind of things did they find?
Well, they found that WBV showed some real potential for improving a whole range of cognitive abilities,
Like what?
like attention and memory,
Uh-huh.
even executive function.
Wow.
And what was even more interesting is that it wasn't just in healthy individuals.
Oh, so they looked at other populations too.
Yeah, they saw positive results in people with conditions like ADHD and dementia.
That's pretty remarkable.
So I'm curious, like, what would these improvements look like in everyday life? Could WBV actually help someone, focus better at work
Possibly.
or remember where they put their keys? Those kind of things.
It's definitely an intriguing thought.
Right, like imagine being able to concentrate better during those long meetings, or remember names more easily, or just make decisions more effectively. I mean, those are all areas where I think we could all use a little boost.
For sure.
So it sounds like there's some real potential here. But I'm guessing more research is needed.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
fine-tune like the best way to use WPV for cognitive benefits,
Yeah, there's still a lot to learn.
right? Because I imagine it's not just like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
Like the frequency of the vibration, the intensity, how long you do it for,
Yeah, all those factors could play a role.
what posture you're in, all that stuff.
It's like fine-tuning a recipe. You gotta get all the ingredients just right.
Yeah, to get that perfect result. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
Muscles, bones, metabolism, and now the brain. For our listener who's maybe thinking about trying WBV, what are the key takeaways?
Well, I think the biggest one is that WBV is showing a lot of promise. Across a variety of health areas, it's not a miracle cure,
Right.
but it could be a valuable tool for enhancing your physical and cognitive performance.
Yeah. And potentially even supporting your overall well-being.
Right.
That's like WBV is adding a whole new dimension to fitness and health.
It is. It's really exciting
Yeah.
to see how our understanding is evolving and what new possibilities are out there.
But like with anything new in the world of health and fitness, I mean,
Yeah.
it's important to be informed
Absolutely.
and approach it with a little bit of caution.
Right, exactly.
Because we don't want people to just like run out and buy a WBV machine without,
Yeah.
doing their homework first.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by all of this, what's the next step if they're thinking, maybe I want to try this WBV thing?
Well, the first and most important thing, talk to your doctor,
Yeah.
especially if you have any, pre-existing health conditions.
Right.
They can help you figure out if it's right for you.
And how to use it safely.
Exactly.
Okay, so talk to your doctor, get the green light, and then what?
Well, there are tons of resources out there. Everything from those scientific studies we talked about. Yeah.
To people sharing their own experiences online.
Yeah, and we've actually got a bunch of links down in the episode description.
That's right.
So if you're interested in learning more, that's a great place to start.
It is, yeah.
Your WBV starter kit, we'll
Got it.
call it. And, you could even bring this up at your next doctor's appointment.
Yeah,
See what they think.
good idea.
Because it's always good to have those conversations, right,
Absolutely.
about your health and wellness goals. So whether you're a hardcore fitness enthusiast or just someone who's curious about new ways to improve their well-being, I think this deep dive into WBV has given us all some food for thought,
I think so too.
and maybe even a little bit of hope.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really exciting to see how science and technology are constantly opening up new possibilities
Hmm.
for us to live healthier and more fulfilling lives.
It's a journey.
It is a journey, it really is. And that's what makes it so fascinating, right?
It really does.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that curiosity alive. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future deep dives into all sorts of, cool and interesting topics. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep on vibing.